Yes, ma'am.
I just would like to raise a question here. You alluded to the fact that we were told adult foster homes are the thing that they want. Moving away from corporate.
Yeah.
And somehow there's something that's not quite right with me, because it sounds to me like now we're moving into putting the clients in apartments with supportive care. Am I right? Because you're more in a position than we are to know that. This is what's happening. We are not being told what's coming down the tube, so we can prepare ourselves for this. So I'm asking you people, is that what's on the agenda?
We certainly heard discussions that indicate that they want to do more supported apartment living. The question is whether that's appropriate for the individuals involved. Again, you have to assess whether or not that person is going to be appropriately supported. Now, some people it may be. Other people, you gotta ask questions like this gentleman over here was asking. Ted, you were asking, if this person has been a part of our family, this person has achieved these goals and outcomes as a result of this setting, do we really need to disturb that environment that, has supported this person successfully over the years? And if so, what's the justification for it?
Aren't fees give a choice? It's either you do it our way or it's the highway.
Well, that's why we're informing you of your appeal rights, so that you know that you do have choices.
Well,
Yes.
the last I checked, Wisconsin was still in the United States of America. We all have legislators we should be calling about this too. We are pushing people around here, and it's time for us to start pushing back.
Yes, ma'am?
Well, I was informed that
Can you tell us who
oh,
you
yes,
are?
I'm Pat Cass, if you can get me on here. I was informed that
We'll come back to it, sorry.
okay, it'll come back.
Okay, I think I saw a hand over here, yes?
Okay, I'm a family home provider, Dana Babb. I'm pretty new to this whole thing. I've only been doing this 2 years. But I've heard all of these exact concerns over the last
Are you okay being
Yeah,
recorded?
fine. Exactly these exact same concerns. And we were told at all these meetings that we're wanting to move people away from the corporate type homes into the owner-occupied adult family homes because we feel that can best serve their needs. And when I brought up, it seems like a built-in conflict of interest for the MCO, that it's also lower rates. That they said, oh no, that has nothing to do with it. When I got my first client, I asked for a copy of the functional screen when they first evaluated. That's confidential, we can't tell you that. Then when I got my contract and started reading it through and trying to talk with other adult family home providers, people are afraid to even discuss rates because we're told we're not even allowed to discuss our rates. Never mind the whole, Wisconsin, teacher thing that was going on a while back about negotiating rates. We're not even allowed to disclose our rates or discuss our rates without being in fear that we will lose our contract with CHP or we'll get blacklisted or in trouble and people won't be placed with us if we ask questions or rock the boat or anything like that. So that's one thing is as a provider, we're pretty much told you don't have any rights. Yeah.
And I'll repeat what I said before. I'm putting this on guardians. Ask for the rates, ask for the contract, ask for the functional screen, and you're the ones who can talk to each other and go, here's what my person's getting in a 2-bed group home, here's what mine is. Why is this one not getting as much money as the other one? You're the ones who can ask that question. Isn't that what you do if you're shopping for a washing machine?
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, and in the case of guardians, sometimes the guardians are wonderful family members, caring, loving people, but sometimes they're court-appointed guardians who don't know the person all that well, or who sometimes are not all that involved in their lives or whatever. And in this other case, it's unrelated to what I'm talking about now. This is a distant family member that I have who wants to come live in my home. We're not related according to the state's definition of relative, but her guardian talked to CHP. CHP said, no, she can't come live with you because you're a relative. Even though technically I'm not, And then she was not told that she has any recourse. I told her, I can't get too involved in this because it'll look like a conflict of interest on my part, but I can read you the family care outcomes, and the first one on the list is I decide where and with whom I live. And she said, oh, I know, I keep telling them I want to live with you, but my team told me I can't, so my guardian said no.
Well, again, it points you back to the sheet on how you exercise your rights under family care through making sure the outcomes are there, the RAD process has gone through, and that there are avenues for appealing. The other thing, most providers are, usually associated with some kind of a group like mine or the Wisconsin Assisted Living Association or Residential Services Association. Sometimes it helps to get together and have a structured discussion with a provider association because you can bring up issues and discuss them without crossing the line that would put you into the antitrust kinds of actions where you're colluding on rates and those kinds of
We
things.
have tried to do that, and people are afraid.
Yeah.
They say, I'd like to come to the meeting, take notes, tell me what they said, because I don't want to go, because I don't want my name to get told to CHP that I was there and that I was discussing.
Are you associated with a
RSA.
provider association, RSA? I would go to the RSA member, leadership and say, we need to have a forum or we need to have some method of discussing these problems and coming up with a provider association response. I mean, when we, obviously I'm here because of a provider association response. I had a member make me aware of the problems that were going on here, and, invited Mr. Plato to come up and talk again. And, we're very supportive of trying to make sure that people have an opportunity to talk these things through and learn about their rights.
One last thing.
Yes.
This same person now, only just a couple weeks ago, was told by her, she lives in her corporate group home, that because we're not going to get paid for your transportation costs anymore, you can no longer go to work at Indian Head anymore because you have to provide your own transportation costs. Well, she can't afford that.
You might want to have a talk.
Yeah,
with,
and let me just say, I'm surprised we made it this far before we brought up transportation costs.